Hello, I'm Bretton, one of our MCAT tutors here at Inspira Advantage, where we help students get into medical school and other professional programs. Welcome to MCAT Bites. In this episode, we explore globalization and society, a critical theme for understanding the interconnected world we live in, as well as rocking the psych-soc section. Globalization affects every aspect of society, from economic policies to cultural exchanges, shaping our modern world. Let's dissect the concept of globalization, its perspectives, and its impact on global societies. You can expect us to help you out, obviously, with the psych-soc section, as this touches on many different theories, but it'll also help out quite a bit on CARS. Very often there will be a CARS passage that is touching on globalization in some way. So making sure that you're familiar with this topic is going to be very, very helpful for the MCAT. Let's start at defining what the heck globalization even is. Well, globalization refers to the process of interaction and integration among people, companies, and governments worldwide, driven by international trade and aided by information technology. It results in a single world market where communication technologies minimize distances and economic interdependence grows, allowing operations across borders. The essence of globalization lies in its ability to connect diverse cultures and economies, making the world more accessible than ever before. If somebody has a good idea in this part of the world, someone over here will hear about it much faster nowadays, thanks to cell phones, than they would 1,000 years ago, where it could take 100 years just to get this one idea to travel. So you can see how this compounds on itself, advancing the world even faster. However, not everybody has such a PG view on globalization. There are some different perspectives. Globalization, like many things, is definitely viewed through various lenses. The first lens I want to talk about is called the hyper-globalist lens. This perspective sees the creation of a borderless global economy. In contrast, the skeptical perspective argues that globalization benefits developed nations at the expense of third world countries, leading to unequal integration into the global economy. This is also similar to what you'll hear during conflict theory, which we'll move into in a little bit here. And the third perspective I want you to be aware of is known as the transformationalist perspective. This suggests that globalization results in new, unpredictable patterns of global interaction, which could or could not be good. Each perspective offers a unique insight into the complexities of global economic and social relations. Now, we're going to talk about something that you might have taught in an economics class before, or just maybe even a general history course. But we're going to talk about the world systems theory. World systems theory provides a framework for understanding the hierarchical relationships between nations, how nations are interacting with each other. Developed nations, or core countries, shown in the model in the core, the center here, dominate global economic activities, transforming raw resources from less developed peripheral nations into high-value goods. This dynamic perpetuates wealth disparities, maintaining the dominance of core nations while keeping peripheral nations in a state of dependency and poverty. So an example would be, let's say the DRC is a peripheral country, and it is producing zirconium, something that iPhones need. So in the core, one such country would be America, woohoo. California is going to take that zirconium and turn it into an iPhone. So while the zirconium might be mined for, I don't know, $1 an ounce, that might be too high. Once we transform it in the core, now the ounce worth of a phone could be anywhere from $200 an ounce. So there's an unequal creation of wealth in the core compared to the periphery. Now, let's connect this to two of the most important sociological theories you need to know for the MCAT: conflict and functionalist perspectives. If you haven't already watched our video on these, go ahead and do it right now, because it is absolutely foundational for your MCAT. From a conflict theory perspective, globalization is often seen as a process that exacerbates inequalities on a global scale. This viewpoint suggests that globalization benefits the wealthy and powerful nations, core countries, at the expense of less developed ones, peripheral countries. Conflict theorists argue that the economic practices underpinning globalization, such as outsourcing and the exploitation of cheap labor, reinforce a world system where capital flows from poor to rich, deepening the divide between the affluent and the impoverished. They highlight the role of multinational corporations and international trade agreements in maintaining economic dominance and perpetuating the exploitation of wealthy populations for profit. The saying holds true for conflict theory pretty much every time. If it sounds communist, probably conflict theory. Now let's talk about the other big theory you need to know, the functionalist perspective. Functionalists will view globalization as a beneficial process that promotes global integration and cohesion. They argue that globalization leads to economic growth, technological advancements, and cultural exchanges that contribute to a more interconnected and harmonious world. Functionalists see the spread of democracy, capitalism, and Western culture as positive forces that stabilize global society and enhance collective consciousness. They believe that globalization creates opportunities for cooperation, and problem solving on a global scale, addressing issues like environmental degradation, disease pandemics, and international conflicts through shared resources and knowledge. Analyzing globalization through the lenses of conflict theory and functionalism presents two distinct narratives. One, highlighting the process's divisive and exploitive aspects, and the other emphasizing its unifying and progressive potential. Conflict theorists focus on systematic inequalities and power imbalances perpetuated by globalism, while functionalists point to the overall benefits of increased global connectivity and mutual dependency. These differing viewpoints offer critical insights into the complexities of globalization, encouraging a nuanced understanding of its impacts on society and culture. Because in reality, none of these theories is probably exactly right about how it works, but both of them offer a great framework for thinking about individual problems within globalization. So, what are some of the social implications of globalization? Globalization's reach extends beyond economics into social realms, bringing both benefits and challenges. It fosters cultural exchange and understanding, but also contributes to issues like terrorism, wealth concentration, and civil unrest. Boo. These social changes highlight the complex consequences of a globally interconnected society, where actions in one part of the world can have far-reaching effects on communities thousands of miles away. But on the other hand, medicine invented in one country can help others thousands of miles away. When you're studying globalization for the MCAT, it's not just about grasping the economic and political intricacies, but understanding the profound impact on human lives across the globe. As future medical professionals, recognizing these global dynamics is crucial for addressing the challenges and opportunities of our interconnected world. Even more importantly, in the near term, it's going to be super duper helpful for the psychosocial section, as well as make cards just feel a little bit more like you've got some control over it. So thank you so much for joining us on this MCAT Bites about globalization, and I will see you next time.